professionalism. Vote for both and get developed and prosperous Bangladesh in return, pledges Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to countrymen. Election campaign reaches peace across country as candidates intensify bids to attract voters. Victory of both in coming election will defeat anti-liberation forces for good, hopeful Obaidul Qadir says in Noakhali. Tsunami strikes Indonesia, abruptly killing 222 and wounding more than 800. And Rangpur Division clinched championship of Father of the Nation Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman National Under-17 Gold Cup football, beating Rajshahi. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid hands over the trophy. Assalamu alaikum, I am Alicia Prime, welcoming you to News at 10 on BTV. BTV World and BTV Chattogram Center.
And I am Imtiaz Ahmed Siddiqui with her. You just heard the headlines, moving on to the details of those and other stories. President President Mohammad Abdul Hamid is stressed on giving importance to the rapid expansion of war techniques and information technology to attain professionalism of armed forces. The President said this while addressing the graduation ceremony of the National Defence Corps and Armed Forces War Course 2018 at Sheikh Hasina Complex at Mirpur Cantonment today. A total of 111 military and civil officials, including 23 military officials from friendly countries, took part in the courses organized by the National Defence College. Congratulations all course members for their successful completion. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid hoped that they would utilize their acquired knowledge, wills and pledges to expedite a sustainable development and progress of the country. He said Bangladesh set up a tremendous example of development in socio-economic sector of the world, upholding the spirit of liberation war and ideals of Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The President said the strategic importance of Bangladesh is increasing gradually in the international arena, and the country is playing very significant and constructive role in different international and regional forums. The President expressed hope that the overseas participants would act as goodwill ambassadors of Bangladesh to their respective countries. NDC Commandant Lieutenant General Sheikh Mamun Khalid delivered welcome speech on the occasion. President Abdul Hamid handed over certificates to the participants of National Defence Corps and Armed Forces War Corps. Later, the President cut a cake and signed the visitor's book. Prime Minister's Defence and Security Advisor, Major General retired Tariq Ahmed Siddiqui, the chiefs of 3 services, members of Parliament, senior civil and military officials were present. Prime Minister and Awami League President Sheikh Hasina urged the countrymen to cast vote for her party to serve the people again, saying the people's lot is changed when Awami League remains in power. She said this while addressing a huge rally at Taragonj Degree College ground in Rangpur today. Sheikh Hasina said her government took massive programs for overall development of the northwestern region, including Greater Rangpur. Her government has already constructed many roads and bridges in Rangpur, while works are underway to implement many schemes. The Premier said there was a time when the northern region was described as a Monga-prone area, but those bad days have gone. Highlighting her government's steps for the development of Bangladesh, the Prime Minister said the government is taking the country towards uplift and has made all arrangement for food, education, housing and healthcare for the people. Later, Prime Minister and Awami League President Sheikh Hasina addressed an election rally at Pirgonj High School ground. In her speech, she urged the people to vote for both to serve the people again and keep up the pace of development in the country. She simultaneously expressed her firm belief about the victory of her party in the December 30 elections, saying the wind appeared favorable as the boat sailed. Awami League will be victorious in the polls, inshallah, she said. The Prime Minister also made a commitment to take the country towards prosperity by utilizing the strength of the youth folk. Secretary to the Election Commission, Hilaluddin Ahmed, at a press briefing at the EC office this evening said the Election Commission has no authority to cancel the candidature of Jamaat leaders contesting the coming election under BNP's election symbol, sheaf of paddy. The EC Secretary said the EC does not have scope to suspend election or accept nomination of alternate candidates in constituencies where BNP's candidature have been annulled by court orders. The EC meanwhile has rescheduled polling in Gaibandha 3 constituency due to the death of Oikofront candidature. Candidate polling in Gaibandha 3 will be held on January 17 according to the revised schedule. Earlier, these decisions were adopted at a meeting at the EC Secretariat with CEC K.M. Nurul Huda in the chair. The meeting was attended by Election Commissioners Rafiqul Islam, Kobita Khanum, Brigadier General Retired Shahadat Hussain and EC Secretary Hilaluddin.
The army will deploy it at 389 upazlas across the country tomorrow ahead of the 11th general election. Besides, the member of Bangladesh Navy will be deployed at 18 postal upazlas, and the members of the Border Guard Bangladesh BGB at 87 upazlas lying with borders at the same time. This was stated as an ISPR press release today. Awami League General Secretary Obaidul Qadir said the anti-liberation forces will concede their final defeat through the victory of Awami League in the upcoming general elections. He said this while conducting election campaign at Shenbag Upazla under Noakhali district today. Terming terrorism, corruption and killing as BNP's politics, Obaidul Qadir said the people of the country have rejected BNP. Sheikh Hasina has become a unique leader across the world, but didn't in her honesty and talent, which is pride for the Bengali nation, he added. Obaidul Qadir called upon the people to cast their votes for Awami League if they don't want to observe the related scenes like 15th August killing, 21st August grenade attack and fire terrorism in 2014. Later, Obaidul Qadir delivered speech at Shonamuri and Chaskila Upazila of Noakhali and Ramganj Upazila of Lakhipur district. He said due to the corruption and terrorism, BNP chef of Paddy has turned into poison for people. Obaidul Qadir said Mirza Fakhrul Islam and Dr. Kamal Hussain are behaving like reckless drivers to sense the mass wave for both. He said there is no alternative to Sheikh Hasina to sustain the current development activities. Jashud President Hassanul Haq Inu has said people can form unity with people but not sustain. He said chef of Paddy produced killers, razakars and militants but not rice. He said this while conducting election campaign at different places in Bharamara, Kushtia. Hassanul Haq Inu said by voting for both on 30th December, people will buy electricity, new metals roads and peace for 5 years without paying any money. The Jashud president said people will surely vote for both as they have been benefited by voting for them 10 years ago. Awami League's National Election Conducting Committee co-chairman H.T. Imam has said BNP Jamaat clique has restored to violence and terrorism to make the parliamentary election questionable under an orchestrated plan. He said this at a press conference at the Awami League President's Dhanmondi's political office today. The Awami League Advisory Council members said 5 leaders and workers of their party were killed and 250 others critically wounded in the attack. But the BNP Jamaat clique, ahead of the election, they also carried out vandalism at many Awami League offices across the country. He urged the Election Commission and the administration to take legal action against those involved with the incidents. H.T. Imam also demanded immediate arrest of the attackers to establish a level planning in the election. Advisory Council members Dr. Rashidul Alam, Deputy Publicity Secretary Aminul Islam and Deputy Office Secretary Barrister Biplab Borwa, among others, were present in the press conference. Information Ministry will open a media center to disseminate the 11th national election-related information, including its results, from December 29 to 31. State Minister for Information Tarana Halim said this at a press conference at the Secretariat today. She said the election results and the decisions of the Election Commission will be made available through the media center to be set up at Shonargaon Hotel in the city. The State Minister said the media center will remain open for 24 hours in 3 shifts, where 7 officials will work in each shift. Tarana Halim said the foreign embassies in Dhaka will also be informed about the media center by issuing letters so that they can contact with the media center for any information required. Information. Election Commissioner Mahbub Talukdar has asked polling officials to discharge their duties neutrally, treating all candidates equally in the 11th parliamentary election. He said this at a view exchange meeting with polling officials and members of law enforcement agencies in Sylhet today. Sylhet Divisional Commissioner Mesbauddin Chaudhry, Metropolitan Police Commissioner Mohammad Ghulam Kibriya, returning officers of 4 districts of Sylhet Division and members of law enforcement agencies joined the meeting, among others. Mahbub Talukdar urged the polling officials and law enforcing agencies to ensure free, fair and credible election.
And now BTV's regular field report. People's Voice on politics and election. Discussions, table talks and conversations are going on at every corner of the country as national elections coming nearer. People from all walks of life are talking about the election, where it come up government's performance, development of localities and dreams and possibilities of future Bangladesh. Talking to the BTV, few common men in front of Keranganj Aganagar Union Complex in Dhaka expressed their thoughts over the upcoming general election. Mentioning the chaos before 2014 general election, one of them said, "The anti-liberation forces created anarchy across the country. They killed people with petrol bombs." He said, "If those evil forces come to power again, then they will change the environment of Bangladesh like Pakistan." Another person said, "In the past, Keranganj was a place of terrorism. Politically motivated terrorism and extortion were common." He said these types of activities were patronized by the politicians, but now that situation does not exist. A woman said now women have developed themselves and reached top positions in every sphere of life. She said women are now working with their male counterpart hand in hand. Another woman said she is receiving 30 kilograms of rice in a month. Her mother is getting elderly allowance and her sister is getting disabled allowance for her son. The results of Junior School Certificate JSC, Junior Dakhil Certificate JDC and Primary Education Completion PEC and its equivalent Ibtidai examinations will be published tomorrow. The results will be handed over to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in the morning at her residence, Gano Bhavan. Later, Education Minister Nurul Islam Nahib and Primary and Mass Education Minister Mustafid Rahman will announce the result officially in separate press briefing at their Ministry offices. Primary, Ibtidai and JSC JDC examinations held from November 1 to November 15 with the participation of 57 lakh examinees. Visiting Grand Mufti Sheikh Muhammad Ahmad Hussain of Al-Aqsa Mosque in Palestine visited the Mazar of Father of the Nation Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman at Tungipara of Gopalganj. He offered munajat seeking eternal peace of the departed souls of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman at the Mazar. Palestinian ambassador in Dhaka and local Awami League leaders took part in the munajat. Later, Grand Mufti signed the visitor's book at the Bangabandhu Bhavan.
And now international news. More than 222 people have been killed and 843 injured after a tsunami hit coastal towns in Indonesia's Sunda Strait. There was no warning of the giant waves which struck at night, destroying hundreds of buildings, sweeping away cars and uprooting trees. Officials thought undersea landslides from the Anak Krakatoa volcano caused them. President Joko Widodo has expressed his sorrow for the victims and urged people to be patient. The Sunda Strait between the islands of Java and Sumatra connects the Java Sea to the Indian Ocean. A partial U.S. government shutdown is set to continue through Christmas with no deal in sight to break the impasse over budget spending. A Senate which must pass a deal has now adjourned until Thursday. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump will stay on in Washington for the festive period, cancelling holidays in Florida. The shutdown began at midnight on Friday after Democrats resisted Mr. Trump's demand for $5 billion for his Mexico border wall.
And now, sports news. Rangpur Division won championship of Father of the Nation Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman National Football Under-17, beating Rajshahi Division by 2-1. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid and his wife Rashida Khanum watched the final match held at Bangabandhu National Stadium this afternoon. Apun Chandra Roy of Rangpur led his team, scoring the first goal on 44th minute of the match, while Ahad levelled the score for Rajshahi on 57th minute, but Rangpur became champion through a goal from Shamim Islam during the extra time. Apun Chandra Roy of Rangpur was adjudged player of the tournament, while Shamim Islam held the position of top scorer. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid and his wife Rashida Khanum distributed prizes among the winning and runner-up teams. Speaking on the occasion, President Mohammad Abdul Hamid said football remains the most popular game in the country, highlighting different steps taken by the present government for the development of sports in the country. He expressed hope that individuals and non-government organizations will also come forward for the development of football along with the government. Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports Arif Khan Joy and Secretary Youth and Sports Mohammad Abdullah also spoke at the prize distribution ceremony. To end the bulletin, let's recap the top stories. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid asks armed forces to adapt to changing warfare techniques and information technology to gain professionalism. Vote for bold and get developed and prosperous Bangladesh in future, pledges Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to countrymen. Election campaign reaches peak across the country as candidates intensify bid to attract voters. Victory of vote in coming election will defeat anti-liberation forces for good, hopeful Obaidul Qadir says in Noakhali. Tsunami strikes Indonesia abruptly, killing 222 and wounding more than 800. And Rangpur Division clinched championship of Father of the Nation Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman National Under-17 Gold Cup Football, beating Rajshahi. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid hands over the trophies.
And that is all from the newsroom at the moment. Thank you for staying with us, and we invite you to watch